What's up, you beautiful people? Welcome to another video. Today I want to break down exactly the principles and system that you need to deploy if you want to grow $100,000 a month coaching, consulting, expert-led, service-based business. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you 5 steps. I want you to take notes. Write this down because it's what's caught, not what's taught. And if you just consume this video and you don't remember anything at the back end of it, then I have utterly failed. But if you can take one idea from here and you can actually implement it, it will make a meaningful difference inside of your business. So let's start it off. Number 1, the first principle is that you need to have a predictable lead engine, a lead generation engine. So if you don't have people coming into your pipeline, and this is probably the number one issue that entrepreneurs that I work with that are doing, well, actually, honestly, if I'm being completely honest, most of the people that I work with all the way up to doing millions of dollars a year, they still struggle. They still complain that the thing that's holding them back is leads, not enough leads or high enough quality leads. Now, we're not going to get into that. I think that this is one of those, we always think more leads is the answer, but it's not. Truth is, it's not. But in the beginning, where you're at right now, it might actually be. You might just not have enough leads coming in, and so you're in this kind of feast and famine cycle. And the way that usually plays out is if you're, let's say you're doing 10K a month, right? You have a good little service, good little business. You go out there, and you churn up some business, you do some cold DMing, you put out the content, you run some ads, you get a couple of leads in the pipeline, you convert them. Now you're so stuck on fulfillment and delivery that you don't have time to go do the grunt work of running the ads, doing the content, doing the outreach. And so now your funnel starts to, go dry. And then one of your customers, maybe they churn, maybe a couple months later, they churn. And so now you're like, oh, I need to replace that revenue, but now my lead generation pipeline is completely dry. I am effed. So now I need to go back. It's like this feast and famine cycle. So if you want to avoid that, you have to have a predictable lead engine. And the way that you do that is you build something that can generate awareness, make people aware that you exist, that drives consideration, creates trust at scale, and that actually converts people to the next step. That doesn't mean converting them to a paying customer, but converts them to moving down the cycle to step 2, which is after you have a predictable lead engine, you need an effective conversion mechanism. So what I want you to consider, because there's a lot of advice out there about all the different ways that you can convert attention into a paying customer. And they all work. That's the thing. Like pretty much everybody, okay. So rewind to 2017, we're building Escape Climbing. And one of the really funny things that we realized, because we were reading all the business books, and I'm going to tell you this so that you can hopefully avoid it. We read every single business book on systems building. I actually have a phone call with my business partner, Ryan, right after this call, so we can talk about business system. He had a question about the entrepreneur operating system from Traction. Traction happened to be the system that we implemented in that business, and it worked. And then I went and built another business off a couple years later from a completely different system, from the 4Ds of execution. And what we realized was it didn't matter. The system didn't matter. Literally, all that mattered was that we took a system and actually implemented it. Now, the reason I share that, bringing it back to having the effective conversion mechanism, is whether you do a landing page to a sales call, or a landing page just to a checkout, or you do drive the traffic over to your DMs so that you can send them an offer doc and do close them in the DMs. Doesn't really matter what you do. You pick any system, plug it in, and it will work. And it will work to get you to 100K a month. Literally all those 3 that I just listed: sales call, webinar, sales doc in the chat. All of those can work to get you to 100K a month. You just got to pick one and then put it into place. All right. Number 3, the third principle here is that you need to have a profitable product stack. And that sounds pretty straightforward, but it is surprising how many people have a product or an offer that fundamentally does not scale, because it requires too much access to them. They don't have enough time to deliver on it, and it's just not making them enough margin. So what you really want to start with is your pricing structure. That's huge. I do a training called the Pricing Prism with my coaching clients to help them lock in what is the exact perfect price for their offer, so that they can know, I can scale this, whether we're running ads at it or we're going to build it off the back of organic, or we have to bring in a sales team. There's enough margin for this thing to actually grow. If you want that, just drop pricing down in the comments and I'll figure out a way to get that over to you. But the product stack at its core, I want you to think about there's really four ways that you can deliver as a coach, a consultant, or like an expert-led service-based business is DIY, that's do it yourself, right? So you're selling a course or a digital product. Here's the spreadsheet, you go download it, buy it for $59, then you run it within your own business. That's great. That's a low ticket offer. The problem is you need high volume to be able to convert that into meaningful revenue, right? And a lot of people start there because they think that's the easier way to get started. They think it's easier to sell a $59 product to a lot of people than it is to sell a $5,900 product to only a couple people, or to sell a $59,000 product to one person, right? The truth is it's actually a lot easier, paradoxically, to sell one $59,000 product to one person than it is to sell a $59 product to like 1,000 people. Much, much harder. But that's where we start, and then we get stuck because there's not enough margin, there's not enough like gross revenue here for it to actually be meaningful to you. So you get burnt out really quickly. That can have a place within the product stack, but it should not be the core of it. Next is you have DWY, done with you. And there's two forms of done with you. That's either group coaching, that could be a productized service. And this is typically like mid to high ticket, right? So you're charging, let's say $3,000 to maybe $20,000 for this thing. And you're doing it alongside them, but they're coming in, they're getting the ideas, they're getting the coursework, the frameworks, they're plugging it in, but you're not doing it for them. They're doing it, and they're going to get higher results as a consequence, but it has more access to you. The other form of DWY or done with you is one-on-one high ticket, right? And so if you're going to I'm going to work with you just one-on-one instead of a group component where maybe we have, 15 people in a group that we run through as a cohort and we charge each one $5,000. Maybe I just charge you one-on-one work, $50,000, and we work together for the year, right? Now, the last version or the last frame to think about here for the profitable product stack is done for you, right? So now I'm going to do the work for you. You come in and you want us to bolt on the media machine to your business. So our team comes in, says, yep, we know how to do that. Just, give us, pop the hood, let us in. So now that's more like a consulting, an agency. This is the highest ticket, right? So like if you're going to charge $5,000 for done with you, come to the group program, we're going to teach you how to do it, and then you implement it, $5,000 versus if you want us to do it, we're going to charge $5,000 a month, right? So there's a disparity, or maybe $15,000 or $100,000, depending on the product and the business that you're implementing it within. But you want to think hard about your profitable product stack and how does it actually scale? Will it get you to where you want to go? Surprisingly, a lot of people have the skills and the ability to be at 100K per month right now within their business if they could just figure out their product, their offer. It's just not it's not going to get them to where they want to go in its current status, and yet it's one of the easiest things to tweak. So that's fun. The fourth principle of scaling to 100K or 100K a month is having a scalable delivery mechanism. So two things here I want to present to you is first, your product has to actually work, right? So when I'm talking about having a profitable product stack, that's the selling part. But you could sell, swamp water to somebody in Florida, and it's not great, right? Sell them some land in the swamp. You have to sell them something worth owning, worth having bought. So you have to have a mechanism for delivering the actual value. So what that means is don't sell a product that doesn't actually get people results. Because what will happen is, yes, you get them in, you suckered them in, you got their money, huzzah. You had 1 month at 100K, but you're never going to get there again because those people are not going to get a result. And then they're going to leave you shitty reviews. They're going to tell all their friends. And then you're going to have a harder time. Your cost of customer acquisition is only going to continue to climb as you have to go to colder and colder audiences. And suddenly your margins shrink. So now let's say you do 100K the next month. Your margins are like half of what they were because you have a shitty product and they're only going to continue to decline. It's a death spiral. So just make sure the product actually does the thing that you say it does, because that's going to help us when we get to the fifth and final principle. But let's put a pin in that for just 1 second. In terms of scalable delivery, you can, for the most part, up to 100K per month, run that operation entirely yourself with a team of at most 2 to 3 other people. right? That's it. You should keep it pretty damn lean. You should not have a team of 5 to 10. You don't need a full-time sales team. You don't need a full-time marketer. Like, you need people wearing a bunch of different hats, but you should be able to keep it relatively lean. And at 100K per month in the type of business that we're talking here, you should be able to operate at 75 to 80% margins. If you're not, then you're too top heavy. You've brought on too much. But the other side of this is that, yes, you could build a 100K a month business just yourself as a solopreneur. I don't recommend it. I don't recommend it because you don't really have a business if it's just you. You have a job. You just have a job. If you get hit by a bus, if you want to take a vacation, the business grinds to a halt. And so what defines a business versus just a job for me is like your ability to step away, and it continues to not only operate, but grow without you. So that means you have to get good at starting to build team. It doesn't have to happen like until you get to 100K per month. I would focus on just keep the team lean, but at about 100K per month, if you want to make it to $1 million a month, you're going to have to really focus on the team building, on attracting great talent, training them, retaining them. And that's for a whole different video. But let's talk about the fifth principle here of scaling to 100K a month is you need to create missionaries. You need to create missionaries, not mercenaries. And this is in two capacities. Number one, mercenaries, they show up for a paycheck. So your team, if they're just showing up for a paycheck, they aren't going to put in the time, the energy to like really push this thing to the level that it could be. That's number one. You want people that are bought into the mission, the vision of what you're trying to build. The other side of this is you want customers that come out the other side of having worked with you as missionaries. You don't want them just to come out the other side as a mercenary who was like, yeah, I gave them money, they gave me the thing, it was fine. Think about how many products that you've bought where you're like, yeah, it was fine. And then, you know, somebody asks you, would you buy it again? You're like, no, probably not, but it was fine. Like, I'm not disappointed with it. I'm not going to leave them a bad review. I'm not going to go badmouth them or anything like that, right? And honestly, like your business is going to slowly die. It's going to quickly die if you breed, you know, haters. They come out the other side. They didn't get what they wanted. Somebody asked them for, they're actively going out there, not even waiting for people to ask them, would you buy this? They're actively going out there and be like, don't buy this. They're leaving bad reviews or they're like shitting on you everywhere. That'll kill your business quickly. Your business will die slowly, but surely if everybody that comes through your service, your product, they leave and they don't say anything. They're like, meh, they're just completely neutral. Your business will slowly die there. But your business will grow rapidly if you pop out actual missionaries, customers that come out the other side and they're raving fans. They're like, dude, he over delivered. It was amazing. I came in, I thought it was a big investment, but we went with it. And next thing I know, it paid itself back and then some, and then some. He's like, it's the best investment I've ever made in my life. Absolutely, you should do that. If your customers aren't coming out the other side saying that, then you either need to work on your messaging at the beginning because you're over promising, under delivering, or you need to work on the product itself so that you can over deliver on whatever the thing is that you said. But you need to have missionaries coming out the other side, the people that are raving evangelicals for your cause. If you do that, your cost of customer acquisition will continue to decrease over time. And that's a hell of a thing because now people are coming to you warm. They're coming as referrals and they're like, hey, I heard you were dope. Like, can I work with you? And you're like, sweet. Yeah. Give me money. That's the easiest sales pitch in the world. And that's where you want to get to. And if you're not getting there by the time you're at 100K per month, you probably have long-term problems that are festering underneath the floorboards. And it's just a matter of time until you learn the real hard way that you build your house on a foundation of termites. So don't do that. Take these 5 principles, apply them to your business, get to 100K a month, and I'll see you in the next video.